One of the things that have always been so unique about you is very few people, going way back, Jack Benny could do it, but I think you're right up there with him. You can get a laugh with a pause. You just, by doing next to nothing, you can get the biggest reaction of just about any performer I've ever witnessed.
Oh, well, I think that was a compliment.
Yes, it was a compliment. It was a compliment. Yeah, very nice. I want to talk to you about you have such a fascinating story. As when you were first getting started in this business, no one knew who you were. You're a very young man. You came out with a comedy album, The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart. Yeah. This is when comedy albums were massive. They could make a career overnight. Yours went to, this is 1960, yours went to #1. I think we have a picture of the album. Oh, and this was an absolute smash. It was beating some of the biggest recording stars at the time. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the first time a comedy album ever went to #1 on the Billboard charts. And the album that year, thank you. Yeah. The album that year went to #1, and it became album of the year. Mm-hmm. And then I made a second album, and that went to #2. No, and then the second album went to #1, and the first album went to #2. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, was in the record business, said that that's a record that no one had for like 30 weeks until it was broken by Axl Rose.
It was broken, but that record was broken many years later by Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses.
The #1, and of course you hate to lose the record, but at least it went to a friend.
It is hard to believe, the 45th anniversary of the Bob Newhart Show. I very clearly remember my father, a huge comedy fan, my brothers and I, big comedy fans, and we would just camp out in front of the TV and watch your show, and meant so much to me, that program. And I'm told that it took place in Chicago, and that to this day, Chicagoans give you a hard time about the opening of the show. And what I'll do right now is just show just a second of the opening of the Bob Newhart Show, and then we can talk about why they're mad in Chicago. Let's take a look. So I know that opening. I know that opening so well. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm just curious, what is it that people in Chicago, to this day, give you a hard time about?
Well, I get on what in Chicago was the Ravenswood L. Mm-hmm. And I'm going home from the office. And I get off, that little station I got off at, that's on the ground. The L at some point goes on the ground, which is about 55 blocks from our apartment. Mm-hmm. So, and I do this every day.
Yeah.
I miss my stop and walk back 55 blocks.
Right.
To our apartment.
Right.
Now, would you want a therapist who missed his stop every day?
And walk that far, yeah.
Every day.
Not a good. Well, here's the other question. You brilliantly, I don't know whose idea it was, but the idea to have you be a therapist and to put you in a role where you sat and you listened to people, so we could look at your face and you could take advantage of that amazing timing that we talked about earlier. Such a brilliant idea, but I'm curious, did Dr. Bob Hartley ever help anybody? Because when you watch that show, you laugh, you're laughing, and you don't get the sense that there's never any kind of diagnosis. You're always saying, well, we're out of time. And then...
Well, they should have pulled my license after 3 years, because I never helped anybody. But in real life, I acted, and it was very nice. I was in some town. I was doing my stand-up, and I got a note from a woman, and she said she and her husband and their son were having problems. Mm-hmm. And she went to the boy and said to him, as you know, we're having problems, and we want to be a happy, loving family. Would you mind going to a therapist? And he said, well, is the therapist like that man on television? Mm-hmm. And she said, yes. And he said, okay, yeah, I'll go.
Oh, that's really nice. That's nice. Even though
Even though
you were clearly terrible at what you did.
Well, it was a kid.
Yeah, it's a kid. What do they know? The Bob Newhart Show, acknowledged by everyone as one of the greatest television shows of all time. A complete box set is available now.
Oh,
and
I didn't know they were going to plug that. Okay, all right.
Would you rather I not plug it? Would you?
No, I got some
Is it a
cakes.
piece of crap? I mean, what's going on here?
I got some candies and cakes also I'd like to as long as we're plugging.
You're also selling a 1977 Dodge Dart.
That's right.
I'm told.
Mint condition.
Mint condition, yeah. And you can see Bob live October 7th at the J. Scheidegger Center for the Arts in St. Charles, Missouri. Mr. Bob Newhart, always a real honor. Thank you so much.